As you can see, I have quite the stockpile of unused journals. So today we're going to take a look at all of these and I'm going to start brainstorming about some possible ways I can use them. So stay tuned. Hey guys, I'm Tracy and I want to welcome you back to my channel. So today I'm going to be chatting all about journals, specifically all of the gorgeous journals that I have sitting on my shelf that I have yet to use. But there is no shame here because they are super pretty and I do not regret any of the purchases at all. And I know that I will use each and every one of them at some point in the future. And I also know that I will probably be continuing to buy journals in the future as well, probably as soon as the Archer and Olive Halloween release. I mean, who are we kidding, right? But the reason why I am filming today's video in particular is not just to share with you all of the journals and things like that. It is because I recently filmed a video where I started brainstorming my planner wants and needs when thinking about 2026 planners. And as part of that video, I started shopping my stash, which was also quite large, and trying to figure out if any of the planners that I already had in my stash could fit those wants and needs. It was really eye-opening for me, and I'm like hoping that those planners will fit into my 2026 lineup. So during that video, I was like thinking, I should probably do this with my journals. Of course, for the planners, I was trying to like not purchase any more planners for the upcoming year. I don't know if that's necessarily what I'm trying to do with journals, but I figured it's still a good thing to do. And maybe I can brainstorm some of the uses for these journals. I will put a link to that video where I did my planner brainstorm down in the description box. So if you want to check that out, definitely head down there after this video is over. So with that said, I guess we should probably go ahead and start taking a look at these journals. All right, so I'm going to pull just a few at a time because you saw there was a lot. I do want to say, even though I have like a bunch of different brands, the overwhelming majority of the journals that I have are from Archer and Olive, and I am an affiliate of Archer and Olive, which means I have a discount code, which is AGWP, that will save you 10% off of your purchase. I also have an affiliate link, which I will have down in my description box. If you click on that link or use my code, then I will earn a tiny commission for any purchases that are made. And I do really want to thank all of you in advance. And if you have made any purchases using my link or my code, thank you, thank you, thank you. It is very much appreciated. Also, with that said, even though I am an affiliate, I do have to purchase all of these with my own money. There is an exception. I went to Go Wild and I was lucky enough to sit at the Archer and Olive sponsored table. So I did get a few journals there, but for the most part, everything else was purchased with my own money. So I think some of these I'm going to kind of go through kind of quick. And some of these we may talk about when I bring up other planners and trying to figure out the uses. So this one I am talking about on its own because this is the only traveler size and like journal or notebook that I have that is unused. I actually only have one more that is this like hardcover bound nice paper version. I have a lot of cheap versions. But I only have one other in my collection, and that is partially used, probably about like a quarter of the way used. But I don't love that one as much as I love this one that I just got from the fall release. It is the Field Mouse one. It is so pretty. Look, it even has like a cute little design on the spine. It has like a very soft, almost like Swedish feel to it, but I think it is just the vegan leather, and that's what the inside looks like, and then the ribbon. So yeah, I just bought this. When I purchased this, I went with the Traveler's Notebook just because it was one size that I don't have as much of in my collection. Plus, I think this looked really nice on it. I kind of have a few possible ideas for this journal. A lot of them are just kind of creative type journaling, maybe even doing some fun listing, like list and stuff like that. I don't know. Probably none of the above, probably something completely different. But I do think this is one that I probably will be using. If not at some point this year, then probably definitely next year, just because this is a size that I don't use very often. And I find that those are the ones that I'm more like wanting to try and can't wait to try. So I think this one you guys may see at some point like in the near future. I just don't know a purpose yet. The purpose is still TBD, but you know your girl will find a reason to use it. I have so many journals that I'm currently using, which by the way, I also have a video about that, sharing with you all of the journals that I'm currently in the process of using and how I'm using those. I will also link that down in the description. So next we're going to talk about some B6s. So is it just me, or is like B6s like the new it size when it comes to both journals and planners? It seems like that's the one size that people are really gravitating toward, whether it's like their one and only or one of their multiples. They really are loving the B6 size, which means while this used to be a size that was always available, like weeks or a month after the release, now they're starting to sell out a lot faster, which could be a bummer if this is like your ideal size. So out of these, I think this might be the only one that is still available. This is the Swallows. So the other ones are pretty much not available. These are all Archer and Olive again. We are going to start with these two because I actually have a purpose for this. However, funny story. So I somehow did not make a purchase early on when last summer 2024's release happened at Archer and Olive, which I cannot figure out why. My guess is this is probably one of the only covers that I really loved, and I didn't want to buy a whole bunch of the same one to hit the free shipping. So I didn't purchase anything. And then when I found some other journals and things that I wanted, and I went back to purchase it, they only had the B6 size. And I hesitated, y'all. I hesitated so hard, but I loved the cover so much. I mean, look, I have an anchor here. Then I also have the nautical compass as a tattoo on my back. So, I mean, this is my jam. I don't know why I hesitated that much. But in the end, not only am I glad I got this particular journal in this size, which was the only size left when I went to go purchase. I don't know if I mentioned that in the story. This was the only size left. I am so glad this was the only size left because I would not have purchased it in this size if there was another size left. And I have found the perfect use for this size, which I might have mentioned in another video previously. But I am going to use this for my travel journaling. So I have a travel journal that's cheap. Well, the journal cover isn't cheap, but the inserts are. That like if I go on a tour and I want to jot down some notes that I want to put in a memory keeping book later, that's different than this. This is going to be my reflections, how I'm feeling, any thoughts that I had, my overall experience when I am traveling. You know, like when you go and you do these big trips and you go and see these awe-inspiring sights, I want to write how that makes me feel and things of that nature, which is something I've never done before. And I really regret that I did not do that on my last trip when I went to Egypt, because I feel like this would have been the perfect place to house something like that. Actually, at this point, anything would have been perfect to house that information. And I really regret that I didn't do any journaling at the end of the day, just about my overall thoughts and feelings. So that is what this journal is for. I do have two. So right now I'm going to, reserve them both for that purpose. However, I won't be upset if I want to use one for that and one for something else. We'll see. I do like the idea of having identical ones for that purpose though. So yeah, maybe I'll be using one for the next 5 years and then the other one will come up later. I don't know. All right. So these two, I do not have purposes for. Oh, did I even show you all of the decorative aspects of it, just in case? Like I said, this is long gone, but I don't know if anybody's selling them like on resale sites, so I still want to give you a look at it. Like I said, this one is still available. I don't have a purpose for either of these. Obviously I've never actually used a V6, even though I have 4. I've never used any thus far. So if you guys have any other ideas besides my like little travel journaling, then definitely let me know, because I am very interested. I don't think I want to use this as just like a notebook type thing or like a regular day-to-day Dear Diary type journal. I definitely want to do something that I may want to like look back at in the future type thing. And like everyday basic journaling or Dear Diary journaling is probably something I'm going to get rid of at some point, because I want to like let all my thoughts out and then toss it. But these are something I think I would want to keep. So I don't know. This one was in the July Archer and Olive subscription box. So this one is not sold separately. But like I said, I think this one is still available. This is the Swallows. All right. So out of my B6s, half of them, I guess we can say half of them have a purpose, although I can only use one at a time. So right now we'll just say 1 out of 4. All right. Now, let's see. Should we talk about A5s? Because that's like the next biggest size. All right. So even though this is like one of my larger collections, plus I have A5s that are in these like softbound books from like Passion Planner and Go Getter Girl. These softbound ones, I got dirt cheap. Like these were like $4 and this was $3.14. These are probably going to be used as notebooks, which is why I don't want to use the fancy ones as notebooks. So these will probably be used more in that sense, or they may be used, especially one of these dot grid ones, because the Passion Planner is blank. They might be used as like a Dear Diary type thing, because I do like the softbound for something like that. They're just not as pretty to look at. That's why I went through that fast. All right. So here I have 3 Archer and Olives, and then I have 3 others that come from 2 different companies. We'll start with the Archer and Olive because I'll just be easier to go through. So I have 3 here. None of these I believe are still available. Again, I'm sorry, but that's Archer and Olive for you. I mean, it is a great marketing strategy to have journals that have limited availability. Once they're gone, because people like me get FOMO and then they just purchase it because they don't want to miss out on it. And that is exactly the reason why most of these purchases have been made. Because a lot of times I have no idea what I'm going to use it for. This one is a prime example for that reason. This was part of last year's Halloween box. I bought the whole box for this. I don't even know. I think I've used the washi from the box. I've not used the stickers from the box yet. I don't know what else. I definitely haven't used the ink yet. So I technically haven't used anything because I haven't used this either. But oh my goodness, does it look beautiful on my shelf? Yes, it does. And y'all, I don't know if I'm going to use this because I'm so scared. It is the prettiest thing I think I've ever seen. I mean, it is so pretty. I just absolutely love that pop of red. And then the silver, oh my goodness. This is just so pretty. I need to look at this more than what I do, because every time I look at it, I'm like, wow, this is just stunning. I just feel like I need to find the right purpose for this particular journal. Like, I don't want to start it for something and then quit and then just have a partially used one in this gorgeous like book. So I really need to find a purpose for this. I don't know. Like, I absolutely don't know. So it is going to sit on my shelf until I just have that poof of like inspiration and be like, this is the perfect journal for that. So yeah, this is going to just sit on my shelf, but I'm not mad about that because I'm so scared to use it. So then that leaves us with these other 2. This I think I purchased as part of the Bring Back the Favorites that came like last year. So I guess technically sometimes they may bring back some of the favorites for a brief period until those sell out. Again, I have absolutely no idea what I'm going to use this for. This one I believe was purchased so I could hit a free shipping threshold, because there were some others that I just had to get. But this is super pretty. This is super elegant looking. My A5s are usually journals that I just don't know what I'm going to use it for. Sometimes my squares and my B5s, I'm like, I know what that purpose is, which doesn't always, like, I don't always follow through with that. But my A5s, I never know what I'm going to use it for. This just looks very classy, but I don't really do any like classy journaling or anything. So I don't know. So it's just going to sit on my shelf until, again, inspiration hits and I want to use it. This one I have a purpose for, y'all. Woo! Cheers all around. So this journal came as part of that summer subscription box from Archer and Olive, just the same one that the B6B one, the purple cover was. So this is absolutely gorgeous. It is a material. I kind of wish it was vegan leather. I think that would be really cool because it's already starting to get a little dirty and I haven't even used it. I literally just put some Post-its inside when I was trying to map out if there was enough pages. That's the only thing I've done for it. But in case you haven't seen, this is the famous purple paper or lavender paper journal that some people loved and some people hate it. So I was very intrigued by the purple paper. And I think I'm going to use this one over all of the other gazillion. I don't really have a gazillion. I have like 6 A5s, which isn't that bad. I mean, we'll see how much I have at the end of the year, but I digress. I'm going to use this one because of the purple paper, actually, because I'm actually going to use this as a bullet journal, I think, in 2026. Yes, you heard me correctly. A bullet journal, a true planner. Tracy is going to try to draw her own planner. Oh, help me. So yes, I decided on the purple paper because I think this color paper will be hard to work with in like a creative journal or a memory keeper, because I think I would just get tired of it. And then I would also get tired trying to match the color. But I think for an actual bullet journal, it could work really well because I'm not going to always want to decorate it, because there are going to be weeks that I'm rushing to set this up and I'm not going to have time really to set it up, let alone make it look pretty. And I think just throwing in like white, silver, or gold gel, or even maybe a dark purple like gold, like gel pen might be all I need to make this look pretty. So I do plan on decorating it probably sometime. But I just feel like it kind of takes the pressure off of decorating because the pages are just pretty in itself. So that's the reason why I did choose this one. Plus, I think this would work best as a bullet journal for me personally because of the purple paper than any other types of creative means. So you guys will be seeing this in 2026 unless I get scared of the whole time-consuming bullet journal setup and go to like our already pre-designed planner. So we'll see, but right now you'll be seeing this. So we're it doesn't seem all bad, right? Okay, and then I have this Happy Planner journal. I got this from Go Wild, so I did not purchase this myself. I don't love the Happy Planner journals because of this. I mean, I'm assuming I don't even have to lift it up for you to see how dark those dot grids are. That is some dark dots, and they're kind of small. They're a little bit closer together than what I'm typically used to. This might actually show better. No. For some reason, I thought there might have been white dots. I just looked at it. They're black dots. But yeah, these are a little bit bigger than those. And I think it's because, a little bit bigger spacing. But the dots are a little bit thicker. They're a little bit darker. And it looks like the squares are a little bit smaller. But that might also be an illusion just because of the darkness and the thickness of the dots. But I don't love that. But with that said, I have seen people use this for like creative journaling. And I don't really notice the dots as much. Maybe I don't notice as much on camera as I do in person. But I don't know. I just can't get over that. So I think I'll just be using this for something more basic, like maybe tracking or something like that. If I just kind of need a planner to use as a supplement to something else and it's just mainly pen, this is when this one will probably come into play. I don't plan on destashing anything just because, like I said, when it comes to journals, I feel like I can find a purpose for them all. Now I'm going to share with you these two, which are super duper unique. I don't know why I just said super duper, but we're going to just roll with it. So these are from Kora Core Crafts. This is a brand that I discovered on like Instagram over a year ago and have been like buying so much stuff from them since. This came in the 2024 Advent calendar. And then this one they actually sent me for free because of my videos showing my unboxings and things like that. They wanted me to share this with my audience. This is part of a subscription box that was this year. I think it was like a treasure box that they have. They have like 3 different subscription boxes you can get. However, this is also sold separately. Now, while I am not an affiliate for Kora Crafts, that means I don't earn any types of commissions or anything like that. They did give me a discount code to share with my audience. So I'll pop it on the screen, but it is plans. That's plans with a Z 15, and that will save you 15%. So that's a pretty good discount code. So yeah. So first we're going to go through this one. I'm stacking it because it brings it a little closer. I don't have to hold it. So like I said, this one was part of my advent calendar. But I think this one might be sold separately as well. But remember I said it was unique? I mean, look at this, y'all. They still have, you know, the awkward page that all the journals had. But this is super, super cool. They just alternate between the style. So you just have this style always on the left page and then this style and design always on the right page. But I think it's really neat. I mean, you can always cover it with stickers as a decorative planner and decorative journaler. That's not a problem for me. However, I'm really kind of tempted to like leave that as is, use this space as my design space. I will say, we're here to talk about my journals, but Kora Crafts, they actually have a really good Instagram account where they do a lot of reels showing like how they layer and do all kinds of fun things, like texture stuff in their journals that are like amazing ideas. And I would love to try some of them. But I don't know if I can dedicate an entire journal to that because I probably wouldn't do it very often. So like at the end of the year, I would have like 6 pages done. But I'm kind of toying. Let me show you the other one because I don't know what I would do with one versus the other. So this one does say grimoire on the front, which might not be everybody's cup of tea. It says witch grimoire because this is part of a witch themed journal. They are very vintagey, gothic type stuff. Not really gothic, but more vintagey, but they do have really cool themes. This paper is a little slick, but again, look at this paper, y'all. This is so cool. Of course, I didn't even mention the gilded edges. But yeah, so I think what I really want to do, I mean, with the fact that it says grimoire, I feel like I need to do writing in this one. It's like, do I need to do some kind of writing? Although I feel like this screams words. You know, doesn't it? Like words with like decorations around it. See, we're getting to the brainstorming part of the video. I don't have much brainstorming for most of it, but for these, I really need some help. So definitely let me know down in the comments at any point about any of these, if you have any ideas or suggestions. But like, I've seen people that had like affirmation journals where they would write like a pretty like quote or something here and then they would decorate it. It's kind of like just an inspiring like creative process or something of that. But you could also take that more into journaling and do like gratitude and then decorate it or something like that. I think that would be really cool. Something that I was into when I was in school, like, yeah, years and years and years ago, was into poetry and, you know, rap songs. But we'll just call it all poetry. And I used to love to write. And I was like, maybe I should try to get back into that, especially because I struggle with like Dear Diary type journaling. I really want to do that. And I just not even want to do that. I need to do that. So I wonder if like writing like poetry, if it would help with both the creative aspect and that kind of emotional, like getting out the emotions and the feelings aspect that a Dear Diary would do. And then I could do some of that either here or here. And then I could just decorate it or not decorate it or what have you. That's kind of what I'm thinking. So those are some kind of thoughts that I have for use of these journals. I just don't know which one I would do what. Like I said, I think this one, just the aesthetic, looks like it's asking for words or something like that, or like poems. But the fact that this is grimoire, I think it's like calling for like actual like text in here. So that's why I don't know which one to use. But I definitely think I want to use one of those for that. But I just threw out a whole bunch of ideas. So maybe both of them now have purposes. But again, let me know your thoughts. I really, really do need some suggestions because I'm very indecisive. And I just throw out stuff and then I forget about them the next day. All right, let's move to, I got some other stuff in here. Where is, I'm missing one. Haha. No, I'm not. Okay, so I have 5 8x8 journals. I have all of my journals off to the side. I'm not going to stack any more on top of them. I'm going to have to stack all of these elsewhere because I'm nervous that they're going to fall. But yes, I have 5 8x8 journals. However, prior to the Archer and Olive fall release haul, I only had 2. We'll start with those 2 first because I just shared all of these with you guys in a fall release haul video. But this one actually I did get for free from Archer and Olive. They sent this to me because they asked some affiliates like if they wanted to film a video about how to journal for mental health. I did, and they sent me some items from their winter collection last year. Like, yay, I was super excited. But I have yet to use this. And it's because I feel like it's so pretty. I love the dark blue. I absolutely love the dark blue. And even though it was part of the winter collection and it's like Northern Lights was the theme, I don't really feel like this screams winter, which means I feel like I can use it whenever I want. So again, I was holding on to it for the perfect moment. But now that I'm getting to like, you know, this is one of the last square journals that I had before I purchased more, I feel like that moment needs to come sooner rather than later. So this might be one of the next up for use when it comes to needing an 8x8 journal. I don't think this one is still available because like I said, it came out last winter and they've had quite a few sales since then that I'm sure people snatched it up, but it's so pretty. I really like the extravagant designs on a lot of the newer journals from Archer and Olive, but I gotta say I really love the simplicity of this one. I really, really do. So yeah, this one will probably get used. Doesn't have a purpose yet, but maybe soon. This one I think has a purpose, but I'm not sure when it's going to be used. So this one was a like partially used one. I had used like a couple, like probably like 4 or 5 pages, and then I stopped using it. So we're going to call this new, and we're going to use it for a different purpose. This has the mermaid. This was part of last year's release from Archer and Olive. So it is nothing on the spine or the back. But like I said, that is super duper cute. This would have been perfect actually for my reading journal for this year, which was a pirate theme. And then you have the scales that are like, is that pearlescent? But yeah, so this one I think is going to be used when I decide that this one has had enough. So this is my, I guess we can call it my planner conference memory keeping journal. It is, so far I've only gone to 2 planner conferences and they've both been Go Wild. I still haven't finished this year's. I probably need to do about like 10 more pages or 5 2-page spreads and then I'll be finished, but I'm going to be adding thick stuff. I just got to figure out how thick do I want to let this get, because it's already pretty thick. It doesn't seem like it's in danger of like breaking or anything. The spine here seems fine. I don't see any like signs of worry. Right here, I think it's probably, it doesn't seem to be an issue there either. So I don't know. It's like, do I keep going for like a 3rd conference, which would probably then be the maximum amount I can put in here with pictures and stuff? Or do I just go ahead and start a new journal? Because while there are tons of pages still left, I mean, she's thick and she's real thick. And it's like, how thick is too thick for my liking? You know, because it does have to sit on a shelf and I would prefer it to have to sit like this. So this is going to be used once I decide to say goodbye to this. So this could be used next year if I end up going to a planner conference, or I could continue to use this. But I do think they're very good companion colors. Look at that. Perfect colors, which is one of the reasons why I did choose it. I'm impressing myself. I feel like I do have more reasons than I thought. But then I come to these and I don't have reasons anymore. So these are ones that I just purchased from Archer and Olive. I believe these two are still available. I think the most of these are sold out, but they may be available in some sizes. Don't quote me on that. Definitely check if this is something you're interested in. I believe these two are still available. Again, whether they're available in 8x8s, I don't know, because 8x8 is also a very popular size, just because there's only a few companies that do sell 8x8 square journals. And they're just really easy to work with. This one, I have absolutely no idea. No idea. And I said that in my unboxing. I think it's super pretty and I had to get it. Again, FOMO. FOMO is real. I was like, this is something that I really want in my stash. I don't have anything this color. I mean, this is kind of close to it. They look really good together. And then just the forest, the mouse one that's the TN is close to the color, but they're part of the same release. So other than that, I had nothing of this color, so I just thought it would look really pretty on my shelf. But looking at this, and I think I might have mentioned this during my unboxing, this would actually make a pretty good reading journal, but I think I have too many possible reading journals like sitting on my shelf right now that I don't know if I want to reserve this for that. So this is just going to sit there, and when I get a feeling to use it, I'll use it. So speaking of reading journals, let's chat about this one first. So yeah, this is the bookshelf, I think is what it was called. But look, this is absolutely stunning. So I already have my reading journal chosen for 2026. It is chosen based on the theme that I decided on, and it fits perfectly. So this would not have fit the theme. I mean, it's books, so I guess it would have. But the one I chose, I personally really like it for the theme, so I'm not going to change my mind. Which means this would all, if I wanted to use it specifically as like my annual reading journal, this is already has to go to the 2026 running, and there's another one on my shelf that I had wanted to use in 2026. So that would also go in the 2027 running. Is that what I said? Yeah. So this would be potential for 2027 unless I find a need for a like supplemental reading journal for some purpose or another. I already have quite a few though. I have a Adventures in Aldea challenge journal, because that's like a cool little reading challenge, just like Dungeons and Dragons. I'll probably be sharing that on my channel at some point in September or October, because we're doing the autumn equinox now. And then I have a series tracker. So I could do something with reviews. I could do something with stats. I could do something with something. I don't know. I wouldn't want to make that decision without thinking it over, because this is such a cool journal. And now that it's like sold out, it's like, I don't want to mess it up. So I think I mentioned it in my haul video that, you know, if I hold on to this to like 2027 or 2028, and then I bring it out, everyone else would have used theirs. So then it will be fresh and new, right? All right. And then we have this guy. This one, I had originally wanted the B6. I explained that when I purchased it. But I settled, the B5. I wanted the B5, the classic size, which I'll show you in a minute. But I settled on the 8x8 for this one because I feel like with this cover design and the sun and the circles, the square one just really worked a little bit better for symmetry purposes. And I think it works so well. But now I don't know. I feel like if it was a B5, I probably would have a use for it already. But now I don't know. But we'll just go ahead and do another kind of admiration of the full book design. There we go. This is stunning. If I had like the patience and time to study astrology, this would be a great book for that. I tried and failed miserably this year, and I don't know that I will want to like start it in a journal and then fail miserably again. So I don't think it's going to be used for that, but I do have an idea, but we'll talk about it in a minute when I go through my B5s, which we're going to do right now. All right, B5s. So I have 3. That is it. I thought I had more, but I don't. So I need to buy another 1 or 2. maybe when the Halloween collection rolls around. This one was partially used just like the mermaid one, but this one for some reason had used some in the back. I think I have some cutout pages in this one. Somewhere there's some cutout pages. Here I pasted a label on it. I hate that, so I might just tape those pages together. But I do have cutout pages somewhere. So instead of 160 pages, this one probably has about 150. So I'll just have to keep that in mind. I probably won't use this for like something extravagant as I would use one of the other ones for, but I still have yet to find a use for this. So right now this is going to be a TBD journal. I've had this for a while. I think I bought this last year as well as part of that summer release. So I must have bought this, the nautical ones and the mermaid ones together to get the free shipping. But this is super, super pretty. I have discovered that I don't love the fabric covers as much though. I feel like they just get lint on them and then they could stain very easy, especially if you use like stamps and you're messy with them like me. But it's a darker color, so that should help a little bit, but I can already see some stuff on it. So that's the only thing about this one that'll always probably lead me to try my other ones first. But yeah, it is one of the B5s I don't have a purpose for. With that said, these two I kind of do have purposes for. This one, I don't know when I would use it though. So we'll start with this one. This one is the one that is competing with this one now for 2027. But with that said, when it comes to reading journals, I like to theme my reading journals. I just think it's fun. So the theme is going to dictate what reading journal I use, which means it may be a reading journal I have yet to buy yet. Or a journal I have yet to buy yet. But yeah, this one is right now competing with this one for 2027 reading journal. When I purchased this last year as part of the Halloween release, I purchased this to use in 2026. I was like, this is the perfect reading journal for 2026. And then this year came and I have figured out the perfect theme that I really wanted to implement for my reading journal. And this definitely doesn't fit the theme, but it's so cool. And I think because I'm kind of going with like a more of a fairy tale-ish type theme this year, that it would be kind of fun to do more of a gothic dark theme for a reading journal. So who knows, maybe I will stick with a theme for at least, you know, the theme that I have right now in my head for 2027 and go dark to be able to use this one, which might be nice because I'm going to a square journal in 2026, so then I can go back to a B6 in 2027. I do not like thinking that far in advance, guys. I'm just trying to like say, like, I don't know what else I would use this for. This to me just screams reading journal. I don't know why. Maybe because that was the reason why I bought it for. So now I can't think of it for any other purpose. Okay, and then we have this one. I got this from Go Wild as well for sitting at a specific seat at the table that Go Wild sponsored. I got an extra journal. This is so pretty. So pretty. I was like, I couldn't believe I never purchased it. I think this was part of the Bring Back the Favorites too. It's stunning. So this one right now is the one that is competing with this one. And we're brainstorming, so I'm going to chat about it. I know I want to keep this video short, but that doesn't seem like it's happening. So I want to do a few projects in 2026, like memory keeping type projects, not traditional memory keeping. I explained during my planner video some of that because there's a planner I'm going to be using for some of that as well for next year. But I've been watching a lot of videos about journaling. A lot of them are like Ali Edwards journaling, where it is like the binder system with the photo sheets and the pockets and things like that. I'm not going that route. I would go this route, but I want to implement some of that into a journal. So my thought process is I would use some of those projects and do monthly themes in my journal. I would still try to do it like each week, like fill out a 2-page spread. But like the theme would probably go through the entire month. So like one of the ideas or a couple of the ideas, let's think of like December daily or October daily. So like October, I would kind of do the October daily. I think there are prompts, but like where people would do an entire page, I would just do a fourth of the page for that, which is more my speed. So I just need to figure out whether I want to do the B5 or the square. I feel like, and they kind of essentially have the same amount of space because this is an 8x8 and this is like a 9.78, by like a 6.7 or somewhere around that. I don't know. So yeah, I think it's over 6.5 wide and it's over 9.5 tall. Okay, we'll go with that. But so I feel like they kind of average out to be about the same. It's just like a different kind of layout. So you have to be a little bit more creative in here when you like do like the boxes. If I want to have like 7 days for the 2-week spread, but I think it could work. What I will say is the reason why I decided on journals for it was because this one in particular, I saw this released, and they also released the planners with this cover, and I was tempted to get the planner. But the planner has a calendar in it, and I probably wasn't going to use the calendar. And I'm like, I can make my own, because while the planner was undated and it had really kind of cool layout with the setup, it was the same layout each week. And I was like, this way I can kind of tweak it to whatever theme I'm doing. So I think it will work better for me to draw it myself. But like I said, it was this cover that kind of even made me want to go that route. And I would have gotten a B5 of the planner, which means I'm still leaning toward the B5, even though I got this cover in a journal and not the planner. I'm still leaning to the B5 because that's where the idea originated, was a B5 size. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think for something like that. I mean, would you say this one over this one? I mean, the covers kind of, maybe even this one, because this one just seems heavily themed. But I mean, even with the size. So let me know. I think this is going to be a super fun project next year. I'm super excited. I would love to even get started this year, but fall is crazy when it comes to work for me. So I don't want to add anything else to my plate. I think that's it. I have a whole bunch of other stuff. I also have some letter size go-getter girls. I bought a whole bunch of them when they were marked down to $4 from like $50. I use those for general memory keeping. They are dot grid. I don't love the dots. The dots are huge, but I use it for event memory keeping. So concerts, weekend trips, holidays, and things of that nature. And I really enjoy it for that. However, I'm still on the first one, and I've been on the first one for 2.5 years now. And I'm only like, I don't even know if I'm a quarter of a way through, because I'm really behind on that kind of stuff. So I don't know what I'm going to do with all the extras. They're just going to be there in case I wanted to use them one day, or I'll just give them as gifts, even though I bought some extras as gifts anyway. So yeah, I'm not going to bring those out, but that's pretty much it. I also have these really cool notebooks from Go Get a Girl that I purchased when they were going out of business too. But these are going to be used as notebooks, but these are going to be like the fancy notebooks that I want to take with me, like, when I'm trying to be all fancy at work, or if I go to a conference or something like that, and I want to like pull out my notebook and my cute pen and write in it. So yeah. All right, guys, there we go. It was a lot. It was chatty, but I hope you enjoyed it. You got to see some really pretty journals, but you also got to hear me chat about maybe what I may want to do with it. And that might have given you some ideas, but it might have given you ideas that I didn't even mention. And if so, let me know down in the comments, because that might help me figure out new ideas for some of these. All right, guys, I appreciate you all for watching my videos. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you enjoyed this one, do not forget to hit that like button. If you have yet to subscribe, I hope you would also consider subscribing to my channel. So yeah, I do plan on getting a little bit more heavy and like the plan with me's or the journal with me's and things like that. So like I said, The fall is a little bit busy of a time for me when it comes to work. It's a lot more stressful. So the plan with me is to take a back seat, but I do a lot more of these informational type videos, and then we're going to be rolling into all the setup videos come probably November and December. So definitely hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell. I would so appreciate it. All right, guys, thank you again so much for taking time out of your busy day to watch this video, and I hope you have a good rest of your day, evening, or night. Until next time, bye.